my God!
A kick out!
What the hell is this? Oh, God!
Oh my! Push! Canceler!
Unbelievable!
Has been an absolutely brutal display.
Oh, my God!
That was freaking insane!
Make yourself famous!
Talk about a high-risk maneuver.
What?
The new champion!
OCW Battlefield 2022 is in the books, and it was fun. It was fun.
It was a good show. Definitely an improvement over Double Tap, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. I am Stacy, joined as always by the Wigman Max Mercury, and we are once again joined by AJ Black, who joined us for the prediction show, joining us once again for the review show. So welcome back, AJ. Happy to have you back on, man.
Welcome back. I know everyone's favorite here. I know.
Yep.
You're definitely our favorite guest so far.
#1 Arrow fan, and then the #1 hater of B Money. AJ.
Perfect. So yeah, we're talking about OCW Battlefield 2022. If you have not checked out the show, please do so. Link in the description below. Overall, I mean, we just kind of briefly touched on it, but like overall thoughts before we jump into it from you guys.
A solid 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I'd go around there too. Yeah, it's a really good show. Definitely my favorite of season 4 so far. Yeah,
That's fair. Yeah, it definitely was not a perfect show by any means. But yeah, for me, I was just talking about it. Like, I felt more comfortable doing highlights, like all the HR and whatnot, like as I was filming this show. So hopefully that came across in the show. Before we jump into it, we'll obviously go through it. But AJ almost clean swept the predictions.
Almost.
Very close. I think you were only wrong on.
It's crazy because AJ does terrible when it comes to the real life pay-per-views.
I do terrible predictions.
Yeah, but
Terrible.
maybe UCT is the place to be when it comes to your predictions, man.
Specifically OCW. I can read on mine like a book.
See, now I want you on
That's a big
Renaissance
claim.
predictions now, just to be like,
Or for UCT wise, I could read like Max's spreadsheets.
Ooh.
I could read them all out.
Just one
Okay.
at a time. AJ calling his shots right now is the favorite of the predictions league right now. I don't even know.
He really is. I'm keeping track of it all. So
Yeah, I don't know who else, how they all did. I know there were 6 people who participated other than the 2 of you.
if you want, I have the scores and I can just
Yeah,
tell you.
actually, I'm curious about it.
Let me just pull up my spreadsheets like always.
The ones
Okay.
that AJ be reading.
Got it. So you got AJ 5 points. You have myself, Darkstorm, and Chris with 3 points. Then you have Crazy Boy and Bear with 2 points, and then at the end you have Brett and Ron with 1 point.
Wow.
And then
I
Dalton
didn't
with 0.
Well, hey, I can't.
You gotta play
predict-
catch up now.
Thank God we have a ton of things to predict now, because I gotta catch up here. But technically, I just have like an NA next to my name.
Oh
like,
no, I literally do have an NA on your
Okay,
name.
good. So I'm not even on the board yet.
No.
All right, so let's get into it here. So yeah, congrats AJ for being the top of the leaderboard for the start of
I
this.
gotta keep that grind strong because I already know that I'm not gonna be grinding no more.
Oh, okay. So we got first match was Treble versus Yamashita. I'm gonna start based on that reaction alone. Max, you have the floor.
This was the worst booking decision of the entire
Oh,
show.
hurry.
I will
Wow.
say that the match was great as always. You know, what else do you expect out of a Treble match? Star
Brutal.
decided to come out there, screw Treble, because That is the only way you can really have Trouble lose. So I'll give you that. But otherwise, besides Trouble losing, I thought it was a good match. Great opener. I'm holding
right.
back.
Something AJ, a little more positive, I think. Maybe.
This is going to be a unbiased review of this match. It was probably match of the night, in my opinion. Probably match of the night. The pacing
Trouble
was,
being match of the night just makes sense, you know.
maybe because Yamashita. I don't know. Treble's kind of. I don't know about you, but Treble's kind of
Okay.
good.
Oh, I'm kicking you out after this. That is Trouble slander at the highest degree.
See, no one's gonna see this until like
you know.
days
Yeah,
after.
you're right. I'll kick him out when the video goes up on YouTube.
It's not Trouble slander because my name's not wrong. So.
We'll see. We'll see.
Just aside. Pacing was great. Some of the false finishes were like actually kind of dreadful to watch. Only criticism I could think of that match, which kind of goes for the entire show, is interference.
Yeah.
Other than that, match tonight, Yamashita for World Championship, Featherweight Champion. I don't care. She can hold both. I'll celebrate.
My favorite live comment, like in the actual premiere, is AJ when you were like, she flips, like, and Sheeta flips the rope.
Like her, she can flip. Like, okay, let's go.
She can flip too. Oh my god. AJ, the new Yamashita stan.
Yamashita stan. I'm going to take place of Max because let's be real, Treble's getting old. We need Yamashita.
I'm done hearing bull.
Leaves the call. Quits the podcast.
Kicked after this.
I do agree. Just overall, there were a lot of interferences, but I think for me, when I was booking the show, I was willing to look past it because of just using the show primarily as a building show, while also having it have meaning. So I was willing to just kind of be like, okay, yeah, there's a lot of repetition here, but it's fine. But yeah, there would definitely were a lot throughout this whole show. Sky. Jesus Christ. My cat has been super needy today. Like, yeah. So, all right. So next we got the one match that nobody could actually predict on the show because it was not announced prior. Ozzy comes out to cut a promo saying that he's still, he wants to continue competing basically, and he wants a match. So he calls out anybody in the back, and Jack Roberts returns and demolished him. I don't know what else you can really say about it, but if you got anything to say about it, like, let me know.
Jack Roberts for 2022. Let's go.
Honestly, when I saw Jack, I was actually really excited because, when it came to this reboot and getting rid of all these top stars, it really does allow room for guys like MCL, Drew Nova, and all, Sean Force, all these guys to step up. And with Jack's inclusion, it made me really happy because, before the review, you had big names like Antho, Adrian Destiny, Mario, who would be at the top spot where Jack couldn't really infiltrate that level. But since, at least at that moment, he was the first outsider to come in, I felt like this would be really good for him to step up into the main event scene. So I was really happy to see Jack. But poor Ozzy, the Gen 4 talent just taking some beatings.
So I had filmed this match and the Soraya Aaron Kane match. I filmed those first, well in advance before the rest of the show was made, because I really didn't have any plans for either of them. Now I have plans for both of them. So yeah. So this was mostly me trying to establish Jack as this walking force
Mm.
because he like Ozzy chops him. I loved this. He chops him, and then Jack just basically just decks
Forearms
him,
him.
and it's already over. Like like as soon as he hit him, it's that match is over. He didn't even do the. He could have just hit him and pinned him, and it probably would have had the same effect. So yeah, Jack, and there was a question in the live chat of whether or not Jack is like back in OCW. The answer is yes, he is.
Oh,
So
Jack versus MCO. I cannot wait to see.
That would be a great match.
I want to just flash the bear like cannot comment on rumor speculation photo. I could put that in the editing. They could just like flash it on the
Power of
screen.
editing.
Exactly. All right. So next we got the second real match, I guess. Sutton versus Ben Fishman. Last time we started with Max. I'll start with you, AJ. How'd you think?
I think this match actually maybe a fan of Ben because I don't know, something about it is just like I don't have the proper words to describe Ben other than like exotic. I don't know, but the fact that he actually won, sure, he won via like not good means, but hey, win's a win, and I can't wait to the future for him. He could be a big mid carder, and maybe one day OCW World Championship holder. Who knows? Maybe if you want to bring back, the OCW NXT Championship and bring me back, it'd be nice.
All these new booking ideas from AJ, you gotta love it.
I know. That's what these
Hire
podcasts are
AJ for
for.
head of creative.
Champion.
I've always wondered that, like, if you booked somebody else's show for an episode, like, how would it look?
Mm.
Cool. That'd be a cool series that people could do. I might shelf that for a second. Max, to you.
I will say when it came to like the real matches on the show and not including like the, I don't want to call them squashes, but like like a minute matches. This is probably the one I cared the least about, I guess, at the end of everything. It was a good match. I think Ben winning, even though he wasn't my pick, I do think it was the right call because Sutton gets protected by the interference, but it's a big win for Ben. And like AJ said, I do think he does have the potential to be a world champion. I think his like exotic personality really lends well to making him distinct from everybody else. And just the name, like, I don't know, maybe it's the first name Ben, but I just feel like that's a world champion name. I don't know, just feel it.
Is there been a Ben world champion?
Well, I mean, I got the spreadsheets. Ben world champion. Actually, I have the spreadsheets for that too. I can just check that out. Probably not though.
I don't think in UCT has there been a Ben world champion in like real wrestling.
Non UCT, not that I can think of. No,
I can't even think of a wrestler named Ben in real life.
Shelton Benjamin.
First name AJ.
I mean, they could shorten it. They could shorten it.
Who? I genuinely don't. If there has been one, I don't know about it.
I don't think there's that many Ben calls either. I think looking it up, we have in terms of first name Ben, I think it's only him because you have Benjamin Sullivan, but that's Benjamin.
Okay.
So yeah, he's the only Ben in UCT.
Which is kind of surprising because like Ben is like a.
All I think is Ben 10.
Yeah,
that's fair. That's fair.
And he's a hero. MC name right there.
Well, like Ben is like more like a pretty common name. Or at least in my estimation, it is. So for it to be the only call name in UCT is actually a little surprising to me.
Well, to be fair, do you want a champion who's named Ben? Do you want?
I don't know.
Ben
You apparently because he's in the.
I mean, if it was just Ben, probably no.
Just Ben. Ben versus Mr. Black.
I'm
Wrestling-
taking Mr. Black. Who
who
would
the
take a guy named
Like,
Ben?
who the fuck is this guy?
Ben versus Rogan Rex. Better watch your money, Brendan, because Ben over here is gonna kick Rex ass.
Ooh, Ben
Loving the hot takes.
Fishman versus Rogan Rex.
Oh, I think they
Love-
can win.
Love to see it.
He has the Ben movement.
There's just like 6 cause that just turn up that are all named Ben after
Just
this.
watch.
I know that's something Ben would do.
Probably.
Just he listens to the podcast. Yeah, you know what? That is a good COD name. It just launches up the game, starts creating a. But yeah, there was another interference with this match. Sean obviously coming out on the every time I want to say ramp, I say apron, and it's wrong every time. And I know that, but I keep saying it. I don't know why I do that. I had a different idea for this interference, and it was going to be, I think it was going to be like Ben gets tossed to the outside, and then Sean rolls in from behind and plants him down. But that was too similar to the one that happens later in the show. So I was like, I'll just have him come up on the ramp, and it's fine.
It was fine. It made sense with the feud that's happening. So it's like no real complaints there.
Yeah. Next we got Aaron Kane versus Soraya Knight. And
The match
Me
was
no-
over at the end of the sentence.
yep, pretty much.
I got up, I got a cup of milk, and then that's over.
Which is funny because a lot of people seem to pick Aaron for their
Yeah.
prediction, including the two of you.
Mhm.
So I was a little surprised just knowing the outcome. I was like, all right, this is going to cost some people some points. They're not going to be a perfect one out here.
I think this is the one that kept AJ from sweeping.
It was.
Yeah, it was. It sucked a lot, actually.
Really, I'm trying to establish this duo of
Yeah.
Soraya and Emma
Mhm.
together. And Soraya, in my opinion, really needed the win.
Yeah. For someone who was like a former featherweight champion, and like had she lost, it would have brought her down just a little bit, maybe. Especially after having lost like that double tap. So yeah, she did need the win.
Yeah. All good?
Yeah,
Moving
that's
on?
much for me.
Okay. So Emma spears Aaron after the match was over, which I thought was actually a really cool moment. She gets up and just boom, she's already back down. But then Emma calls out Shannon for their match, which immediately happens, which is why I had her come out with Soraya, because it was like, oh, this is just going to lead right to the next thing. Because originally when I first laid out the show, it was going to be the squash match, the promo, the tag match, then Emma Soraya. But then I was like, but Emma's already out there. Why have her leave and then come back?
It's like, let's just get it going.
Yeah, just one to the next one. So yeah, Emma versus Shannon. Max, we'll start with you.
I thought it was a good match. I don't know why, but for this one, I can't remember too much of what happened. I do remember it being a good match, but I think Shannon winning was the right call. Like I said with the predictions, I do think Shannon's probably going to be like one of the top contenders for when the women's title comes back. So I don't have too much for this, but yeah, it was good.
AJ.
I feel like this match was like a quick and easy match.
Yeah.
You know, like we just sit down, watch a couple minutes, like, oh, it's over. Okay, that's a pretty good match. That's pretty much that match. And Shannon winning was the pretty good call, because you just had Soraya win, and I think having Emma win with that will kind of be like, booking. So Shannon winning would be like pretty decent. But what's next is what is next for Emma after this whole Shannon debacle?
That's a good question.
I can't say. So
Wait, was it after the match when you had that Karma shows up, right?
Mhm.
I'm
Or
not gonna
the
lie, I
Karma-
was watching that, and when the music stopped, I was like, "The fuck, what's happening?" It literally got me just a slight bit like surprised, like a little startled. I was like, "Okay, what's happening here?" And then Karma shows like, "Oh,
well,
okay."
that's her thing. When you hear that like lights out sound, that's always been her thing since she
Ah.
like was like really full time in OCW last year. Like, every time she would appear, it'd be like, there she is.
I think it's just
Even
because
though
it's been so long, and that's why I was like, I didn't remember it.
because even though Mike claims that she's not, she is a demon character. So she can just appear when she wants. He claims that she isn't, but she
I-
is.
Yeah,
In the face paint, she does. In the
yeah,
non,
yeah. When she's not
doesn't.
face painted, yeah,
it's very Finn Balor esque.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess the only other thing of note was it didn't come together the way I wanted it to in the filming because I like messed up or somehow like when I edited it through, the moment was supposed to be you see Soraya get up on the apron and then Fortune runs down and pulls her off the apron and then they fight up the crowd. Instead, all you saw was Shannon go to the top rope and then Fortune rips her off the apron. And I was like, oh, that's not good. But I didn't care to change it. So that's the only other like noteworthy thing, I guess, that Fortune like came to the aid of Shannon.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely did not come together the way that I wanted it to. But by the time I had figured it out, I was like, I'm not going to change it. So whatever. Then we got Faramosa and Violet versus Cat and Star. AJ, to you first.
That was a really, really, really good match. That was pinpoint what I would call a tag team classic. However, I feel like the finish was a bit in my opinion. And also I think interference from Star was like, another interference. But other than that, beginning and middle portion of the match was really, really good. And I actually really dig the Faramosa and Violet attires. It was just metallic blue or
Did they match?
purple. That was perfect. Other than that, WYCW. Yeah.
Yep. It was Ashley Punk that did the
Yeah,
interference.
Ashley Punk, not Star. I
Yeah,
get
Star was in the match.
black-haired WYCW people confused.
There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them, but it's okay. Max, to you.
I say this was probably my favorite match of the night for sure. Like AJ said, this was basically like a tag team classic right there. Take notes, Adri. But yeah, this was my favorite match. I thought it was a lot of great action. You know, when you Cat, Star, and Faramosa all in one match, you just gotta expect greatness. Even Violet was doing really good there, even if she's not like the lesser of the four. But it was still a great match all around. I guess I didn't mind the interference too much because I was too focused on like, oh shit, Ashley Punk is here. So I didn't mind it too much. But yeah, it's a big win for the WYCW invading force. I think they went 2 for 2 on the show. So I'm really looking forward to see what happens next. And then I think what was it after the match, Treble shows up, which was probably my favorite moment to do. Finally aligning with Faramosa. Because you know those two can work together, but Max DJ, that's not that can never happen.
Yikes. Big yikes there.
Biggie goes there. We can't.
Yeah. Yeah, no, during the match when I was filming it, I was like, they are just bullying Violet right now. Like they're keeping Mosa out of the match, and then they're just beating on her. And then that like float, that like DDT where like it looks like they clothesline her, but she like flips over the arm and then does the DDT. I didn't actually realize that I had that in Violet's moveset. What the fuck is this?
Remaining time. We got a countdown clock.
What? Since when is this a thing?
I don't know.
Okay, I guess we're gonna have to. That's so stupid. Anyway, yeah, I didn't realize that that move was in her moveset.
Mhm.
So when she hit the ground, I was like, this is the perfect chance to put a hot tag in here and let Mosa just run wild for a second. So, and then Treble looks like a fucking machine just running down and just killing everybody.
Yeah.
So you love to see it.
She had that one game, so you know she's going to do some business.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Except with Yamashita.
Yep. I really like the new design for Yamashita. She looks great. All right, and then we got the main event, which is the Gauntlet match. First, the match starts, or before the match actually starts, Mystico attacks Jake Hall in the back, puts him through a table. We don't really get a update on that until later on. So we started with Kevin versus Joe, which I thought was pretty fun for me. Student versus mentor. That was a cool way to start the match. And then MCL comes out and runs the whole thing. Definitely there's not, that doesn't come without controversy, of course, but he did win.
Win to win.
Yeah. Max, I'll start with you. Your overall thoughts on it.
For the first two, Kevin versus Joe, I thought that was a big win for Kevin Amos for me. Definitely finally took notice of him because he was just around, but I felt like him beating Joe Angelo was like, oh, okay, this guy can belong in the main event. And then MCL, then going on a tear, beating what was it, Kevin Amos, and then Sean Force, and then DJ, and then Mystico at the end. That was really good. I will say this is where the interferences were too much for me, especially since what was it? Like, did he beat Sean Force with interference? Right? Yeah. Beat Sean Force with interference, DJ with interference, Mystico interference. Well, I was like, it took it away from me a little bit, and that's why I didn't give MCL like wrestler of the week, because I was like, yeah, that was a big win, but it didn't come with it came with a lot of interferences.
Yeah, for sure.
Where I felt like he probably could have lost like the DJ one, but the big return that happened was really good.
Yeah. AJ?
Well, what I will say is that I like the fact that MCO wasn't like, oh, he came down first and he went through the entire gauntlet. I think that was like finally a breaking like the cycle of how people usually like build a star off of a gauntlet match. I didn't expect Joe Angelo to like start off the match. I thought it was gonna be like DJ and Joe instead of Joe and
that would have been good.
Yeah, that would have been really good. And I didn't expect Joe Angelo to lose that first match. I thought he was gonna go into the second one with MCL. But I was actually kind of happy that I was wrong with that. And those two, MCL went through, like Max said, Kevin Amos, DJ, Sean, and then what was that last guy's name?
Mystico?
Yeah, Mystico. And what I can say though is the MCO versus DJ part was probably the best match within a match of that match. If that's the best way I could say it.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Well, though, probably the one interference I do not mind is the anthem interference.
Yeah.
Because that was just, I not completely out of nowhere, but it was like shocking. because Antho doesn't really do like blackout, black in. Oh my god, it's Antho. He looks like an anime protagonist. But I'm actually glad that he did that. And I'm actually very excited for DJ and the Antho feud. That is one thing I am very, very, very hyped about.
I think it's the first time ever.
What? Yeah, first time ever.
Yep.
And then a small thing I like was the small ninjas segment, and it's just, man, it's just it's just great seeing Ninja again, because I think, was this like the first time we see him since like the draft, or like when he like became GM, or did he like appear in other shows?
Yes, this would be the first time.
Okay, then.
Well,
it was just great.
since he was announced as like a GM by Ace like a while back before the reboot, but when I was bringing the show back, I was like, he's gonna be the GM. So
Great.
I had originally planned to have him appear at Rise of the Phoenix, but I ended up cutting that segment. Not
Right.
100% sure why I cut it, but I did. So
I mean, it was the first like show for the reboot, so I was, it made sense that he'll like appear. But then he appeared with Jake Con Mystico, and MCO just went through Mystico winning, and Darkstorm cheering all around.
no riot,
No riot at all.
in the words of
Had
him.
to specify that twice within chat, within comments.
I guess so. Gotta really get that point across.
Yeah. But
Um,
yeah, glad to see MCO in the top spot for once.
yeah, I'm looking forward to. I haven't filmed it yet, but I'm looking forward to doing that match between the two of them. Because I don't know, from, I guess if I'm talking from an outsider's perspective, it kind of seems like it could go either way at this point between the two.
Yeah, I would definitely say that for sure. If DJ had won, I would have thought like, oh yeah, Drew's probably gonna win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like this, it could really go either way, and it would work just fine.
Well, so far, the only match confirmed for Renaissance is the OCW title match. Like, what I will say is that over the next coming days, probably the next week or so, probably by the time this show airs, probably one or two of them will have been aired already. But there will be matches announced in the next like week or so leading up to the card being posted. So that is what's next. And I'm really looking forward to it because I've got a lot of spots planned. I've got one match like fully choreographed from start to finish. So I'm like really excited about making it.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, because we have a timer for now, which is still stupid, we're going to wrap things up here. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the OCW review from the UCT Live podcast. If you like what you see here, like and comment and subscribe to this channel. Follow us on Twitter at UCT Extra. I want to thank AJ Black once again for coming on and being our first guest.
Applause.
I'm sure you will be back in the future for these shows. Looking forward to it. And yeah, thank you all for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Bye.